What's going on, everybody? Andrew Vogliardo here with Hagen Anderson and Associates, powered by eXp Realty, and today we're going to talk about new builds. So right now I am in South Olathe. There's tons of new builds, thousands out here. South Olathe, Spring Hill, and also West Olathe is building a lot as well. Same with DeSoto. You may have heard they're having a massive multi-billion-dollar Panasonic battery plant, which is going to create thousands of jobs out there. So that'll be growing a lot too in the next few years. But if you want new builds, this is the place to come. Right now we're at about 168th Street in Ridgeview. So like I said, South Olathe, we're very close to I-35. So that's one of the big benefits out here is you could still get downtown in under 30 minutes. With traffic, if you're going during rush hour, maybe right at the half-hour mark, but it's about 27, 28 minutes on a normal drive. So there's a lot of people who live out here who work downtown. It's not unheard of. It's not a crazy drive like you would think it might be. So behind me is a new build. We're going to talk a little bit about the process of a new build, but also other things in the area. So the main thing I wanted to point out is the pros and cons, I guess, of new builds, and then we'll also talk about resale out here. The pro, as you all know, I don't have to tell you, the big pro is everything's new, right? The roof's new, the HVAC's new, foundation's new, everything's new. And so you don't have to worry as much about things breaking day one as you do on resale. Also, most builders give you a year warranty with that as well. So if something did break, as long as it's under that specific builder's warranty, it would be covered. So that's obviously the obvious big pro. The other big pro is a lot of times, depending on what stage you buy it in, you get to pick a lot of the things that go into it, the colors, sometimes the layout. So, and if you want a bench in the shower or things like that, you can kind of ask to throw those in. So that's a big benefit as well. The negative is it takes a long time. So start to finish, it's very common for them to take 9 months. A year isn't unheard of. So more than that's kind of crazy, but a year is not crazy. 9 months seems to be, at least in my experience, kind of what I'm used to seeing from start to finish. And that's why a lot of builders choose not to even sell you the land and start from fresh. They want to start the build like this one behind me, and they won't even list it for sale until it's at a certain stage. So some builders will let you buy it at the land stage, choose your lot, choose your model, and start from scratch basically. Other builder, and some are custom builders, by the way. This one is just doesn't do custom builds. They have a certain set of models, 7 or 8 models, and you choose which one and you go from there. There's plenty of builders out there who do custom work, and I could get you in contact with some of them if you'd like, but for the majority, they have a model set and go like this. This one will go to, a lot of them will go from framing stage or even drywall stage before they list the home for sale. So there's already the floor plan set, and really as the buyer, you're just choosing colors, light fixtures, countertops, cabinet stain or paint, things like that is what you're choosing as the buyer. There might be some minor things in terms of the actual framing of it that you could add, but it really depends on where you are in the process. So that's just something to remember as you're seeing new builds. If it's far along, like this one's coming along at, I don't know off the top of my head how many days out, but I can just tell based on the looks of it that it's not that far out. This one's probably a couple months out. So most of the foundational work is going to be done. It's really just the details and painting and all that kind of stuff that is going to be picked from here. Now, one of the cons of a home that's just being built is that things are almost always more expensive than you think they're going to be. From changes in material cost, a lot of builders have it in their contracts that if material costs rises, like lumber did a few years ago, they can raise the price of the house in the middle of the contract. So that can happen. Or to get the light fixtures you want, there's an upcharge. To get the dishwasher you want, there's an upcharge. And by the end of it, a lot of people end up spending $10, $20, $30, $50,000 more than what they originally signed up for the house. Now, a lot of that, almost all of that is your choice, so that's the good news. It's not like you're forced into 90% of that. But that's the point of getting a new build, is that you want what you want. That's why you're building versus buying resale. So I bring you now to a house in the same neighborhood. It's less than 2 years old. And there's lots, this is a listing of mine, and I just wanted to use it as an example here. There's houses in these areas that are very new, and you get all the same perks of a new build in that everything's new, nothing's worn, all of that. But you don't, the price is what it is because it's not being built. So everything, it's just like a normal resale house. The listing price is there and nothing's going to go up. And oftentimes right now we have motivated sellers who will negotiate a little bit. So, and then two is that a lot of them are still offering home warranties and stuff. So, and that's happening on all resale right now. Time of year is definitely a factor. So in the spring and summer, there will be less of that. But right now, that's definitely a negotiating thing. So, and really, you're very unlikely to have to use it because, like I said, everything in the house is less than 2 years old. So, obviously, the negative to buying a resale is that things are done. So you hope that, and that's part of the tour, that you see that all the things that they did for the house are things that you like. But like in this situation, before this was an interior designer. That's who lived here before. And unfortunately, they had to leave quickly for work and move out of state. So that was the reason for the turnaround. But oh my gosh, it's like incredibly staged. And when they picked out all the light fixtures and paint colors, everything is basically out of a magazine. So, and you can get these usually cheaper than the new builds because, everything's always rising. So every time they make a new build, it's going to be a little more expensive than the previous new build. So, so oftentimes you can get a resale house cheaper than a new build. So, pros and cons to both, definitely. But don't forget, if you're coming out here to look around for some of these resale, there's not a ton of them. But there's always a few sprinkled in, and they give you a lot of that benefit. And you can move in now. That's the other big one. So a lot of these new builds, like I said before, they might take 9 months, or if they're at the stage like that other house, even if they're a few months out, it's still three-ish months before you can move in. So whereas a house like this, we could do 30 days or even a little less than that if you wanted. So just something to think about. This, like I said before, this is my listing. So feel free to message me if this is something you might be interested in. Same model as the last house I showed you. It's just a year and a half, older. And a lot of $20,000 of upgrades in this one, and it's priced less than that other house. So, speaks for itself. But come stop by. If you want to learn more about new builds, resale, or just about South Olathe in general, or West Olathe as well. I do a lot of business over here. If you're more focused on the Missouri side, we have other teammates who are really good on the Missouri side. I do a lot on the Missouri side as well, but my focus is more on South and West Johnson County. But either way, send us a message. We can definitely walk you around, show you some different subdivisions with different builders, and find you the one you love. So let's get out there before prices rise. With rates dropping, prices are going to start rising again, and as we get into that hot spring and summer market. So don't wait. Let's do this today and get you something awesome. So again, my name is Andrew Vogliardo with Hagen Anderson & Associates. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We love doing these videos. Give us a comment about a future video you might want to see. And if you want a tour of this listing, message me below. Until next time, Andrew Vogliardo signing off.